This call is being recorded.
Now allow yourselves to begin to drift back toward the pillar of light, back down to the earth, toward your physical body, and allow your consciousness to merge back into your physical body, bringing that sense of oneness back in with it. Come back into a complete state of consciousness and circulation, fully revitalized and refreshed. I am Archangel Michael. It is these times that we come together that are both wonderful for us as well as for you. For it is a merging of our consciousness with your consciousness. We are all one together. And those of you that have felt the separation from the source energy, from your creator being for so long, now many of you are coming to understand this sense of oneness that has eluded so many for so long. The remembrances or the memories are returning to you, some slower than others, some much quicker than others. But it is all a process that is in a continuing union of all of us together, bringing consciousness together as one. You speak of timelines. I have spoken of timelines. I have spoken of the merging of timelines and the splitting of timelines previously. And what is happening now is that there is a program running, you might say, a program that has created a mirrored world here. In other words, a level of consciousness that is associated with all of you at one time. It is almost as if there is a new simulation that has been created to hold the place for those of you that are continuing on in this process, which is the collective humanity at this time. Whereas Earth herself, Gaia herself, has moved on into the higher vibrations, is operating mostly entirely in the fifth dimension. She has opened a space for all of you that are still here held within this third dimensional illusion. Although many of you have moved into the higher fourth dimension and even into the fifth dimension at times. And you are experiencing what is ahead and also what is in the now moment. All is in a process of evolution, and you are all moving through this evolutionary process, some faster, some not quite so fast, but all is in flux now. All is in motion. And that motion that you are feeling leads to continued awareness. And as you continue to increase your awareness, your consciousness grows. So too then do the memories start to return to you. So too does the other worlds, you might say, the other dimensional worlds open up to you. So that wherever there is an opening in that dimensional barrier, something may slip through. I do not speak here of something negative, although that can be. But I speak of the opening of the barrier or the veil that is really no longer there. And objects can slip through. Objects that are meant for you, to bring you along to the next level of your being, to the next level of consciousness. This is what is occurring now for many of you, and many, many more to come here will begin to experience these things. Almost as if the dimensional barriers are not only dropping, but are merging together. You will begin more and more to experience what before had been called glimpses, but now will be more than just glimpses. Now you will begin to more and more see into those other dimensions. Patience is still required at this point. But knowing that everything is in process, everything is in motion, and that motion cannot be stopped at this point. That momentum cannot be stopped. It was given over your advance. That an avalanche cannot be stopped. And this is an avalanche now that is gaining momentum, moving down the mountain, taking everything in its path, merging with everything in its path. And you can no longer stop an avalanche. Then those who would want to could stop this advancement of the ascension. You are all a part of this now, and you are all becoming even more a part of this as you allow the process to happen within yourself first. Find that level of surrender within yourself, within yourselves, and allow that to continue to move you along into the higher vibrations. It will be as if when you surrender more and more to the source within you, it will open up the higher vibrations readily and easily to you. It will be a seamless transition. That is what we are all working toward for all of you. A seamless transition as much as is possible. I am Archangel Michael. I do enjoy these times that I can be with you, and look forward to those times yet to come, where we will much more be with you in a way that you can appreciate so much more than what it is now. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om. Greetings to you.
Greetings.
Want to start here with you to continue on with this never-ending program here that is happening here. And it is going to be never-ending. The journey continues on and on and on for forever, really. Infinity. And you will continue to move along this journey wherever it may take you. But for now, the journey that you are on is a journey that is working together with each one of you, all of you coming together as a unity consciousness. I speak now of the group, but we also speak of unity consciousness here on the entire planet. All of humanity coming together. And what a miraculous and amazing difficulty in some ways that this is for you. It is something that is very hard to continue to experience, but you are all going through this, you are all moving through this transition, and everything is going exactly as it is needed and exactly as it is planned. Yes, as we have told you many times, we have plan A, B, C, D, E, and so on, and we continue to move along through these different parts of the plan, and when one doesn't work, we move to the next and to the next, and that is what has been happening with all of the things that are happening outside of yourself. But always remember that for you to experience those things outside of yourself and those continuing things that you want to improve on, you first need to find the improvement within yourself. So it is always so within and so without. But the within is always first. No matter what you may hear from others or anything of this nature, it is always coming from within. And this is where you need to continue to focus all of your attention, all that you can, to find that inner resolve within yourself and move through the inner discipline that is necessary for you to experience the changes that you need at this time to go through. Because as you move through these changes, as you move through these transitions, you will be ready then to assist all of those others that will be beginning their own transition. You are much through your transition at this point, and others have not even begun to even know that there is such a thing as a transition. So you will be there for them when the time comes. Okay? Do you have questions here for one who serves?
Hi, hello. Hi, the one who serves. It's Ria.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello, hello. I'm here with my son Valentino, my 11-year-old son Valentino, and he does want to ask a question. He's just a little bit shy. He is sat next to me. He wants to know if he can ask a question.
Either he can ask it or you can ask it for him, either one.
Would you like to ask the question? You want me to ask it for you? Come and sit here. Okay. Well, if you want to, but they're here. Would you like to speak to them? Okay. He wants me to, can you hear him? He wants me to ask his question, if that is okay.
Yes. Please start.
Okay. He wants to know, is his higher self on a ship at the moment? And if it is possible, does his higher self have a name so he can try and communicate with his higher self from now on and try and communicate and try and telepathically communicate? He's struggling going within yet because he's quite young. So basically, if he has a name, he can then start to speak to his higher self. Is that
yes,
right?
first of all, what is your son's name?
Valentino. Do you want to say that? His name's Valentino.
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 My goodness. An 11-year-old that is coming into an understanding of such a thing here, that there is even such a thing as a higher self, is quite monumental here. And it is very, we admire you, the parent here, for bringing this process to this young one. For there is so many times when the ones that are young see things, experience things, know things, but then when they tell their parents of this, their parents say, no, that is just your imagination. It is not real. But for you, you are making it real for this one, and this is wonderful. This is the ones that are coming now into the experience, into this illusion here. But they are the ones that are coming in to now continue to break this illusion down. They are the ones that are, in many respects, the ones that you have all been waiting for here. And they are going to make major shifts and changes. But now directly to the question that is being asked about higher self, yes, you can certainly communicate with your higher self. We're speaking to Valentino here. You can communicate. She is there for you. We're not going to say whether it is a he or a she at this point, but that one, your higher self, is there for you, and you do have a connection with being on a ship, certainly, as many of the light workers, light warriors, all have this connection at various levels. You are not all commanders, but you all have some connection to many of those galactic beings, our brothers and sisters in the skies. So if you can help him understand this, if he does not quite understand this, this would be helpful here. As to name here, you know what we feel about names. So we are not going to give any names here, but certainly as this one, Valentino, you communicate with your higher self, a name will come to you. And then it is up to you to allow for this process to be, allow for this name to come through, and then believe that it is real. That is what is important, for you will receive a name, maybe several names. And it is important for you to then allow for that process to happen and then believe in it as it does. Okay?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Very good.
So shy. He is here. Say thank you and blessings.
Thank you and blessings.
Oh, blessings. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with him. And blessings. Thank you so much.
Very good. Are there other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Susanna.
Yes.
What is the process that we should go to truly surrender to Source?
The process for you to do so has already been given in the idea of the surrender protocols that has been brought out by the missionary here, in a sense, the Charles. And this has been brought into the group here specifically and purposefully so that you can all begin to work with this process or something similar if something works more for you. But it is a particular technique. It is one of the tools that has been brought to this group. And as you continue to work with these tools, you will more and more find yourself preparing for that which is coming, and that is to continue to move through this ascension, or rather through this transition, through your ascension process. And finally, as many of you heard there at the advance, the idea of transfiguration, which had not been spoken of before, but it was introduced purposely into this advance as something that will be there for you. And those of you that are working through this process are the ones that are preparing to be in the first wave of ascension and then also transfiguration here.
Thank you.
Yes. Other questions here?
Yes, this is Lorelei. In terms of the how should I say this? Bring it to me. The negative things that we have experienced, and we're letting go of them. We know that we're letting go of them, and that's very clear. And yet, at times, we need to put a focus on them to heal them. Not that we want to, stare, but we do need to put some focus on these things so that we can, get them out of our way. So, can you say more about that distinction between how much we sort of look to just, move forward and not give our attention to them, and how much we need to put the focus on to get them out of our way?
Yes, certainly is a wonderful question, and we would answer this by saying that you put all of your focus on positive things happening in your life. Do not focus on anything that is negative. They may come up, but turn your focus immediately away from it. As you move into the higher vibrations and continue to find yourself in those higher vibrations, therefore closer and closer into the higher dimensional frequencies, then you will not have the experience of any of these negative beings or negative entities or anything negative in nature whatsoever. This goes for all things here, even within your illusion. Those things of chemtrails, those things of interference, different kinds of radio interference and anything that can harm the body, and all of this we are finding the electromagnetic interference and those things which can harm the body. This is nothing that you have to be concerned about as you continue to move into these higher vibrations, as you continue to find yourself in those higher frequencies. Then the lower frequencies cannot harm you. Okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Suzanne from South Dakota.
Yes.
Yes, I have the Christ Light Center here in South Dakota. I've lived in Payson for about 10 years, from up until to the 2000. We had 100 light workers that sent the great invocation all over the world. Anyway, in the meantime, I've had this 100-pound crystal that was at one time connected to the Earthkeeper crystal in Hawaii. It's now with me back from my hometown in South Dakota, Rapid City, in the Black Hills. I'm feeling that the Black Hills are very important. Under the hills, they have all these crystal caves, and I'm seeing the Christ Light Center that I have becoming more and more important, and the pieces are falling together. But my question is, what am I going to be doing here? The hills are important. Anything more you can tell me about the Black Hills here?
That area is so very much important that you, at this point, do not yet realize just how much. But because of what is under there in terms of crystals and how you are all moving into more of a crystalline nature, it is going to become more and more important that all of these crystals throughout the planet become enlivened once again. They bring their energy to the planet, to those here on the surface. All of this is coming. The return to the crystalline function, you might say. Not only within yourselves, but the earth body herself will become much more crystalline, is already doing so. So those areas where these crystals are located and formed and all of this is going to become more and more important as an energy portal, you might say, that will open up and make connections across the planet through these various centers here. And the center that you are speaking of can be one of those centers.
Thank you.
Please mute your phones. We can hear background noise. Please mute your phones.
People do not realize when they are on their phones that you can hear everything that comes in their conversations that they are having in the room there.
Right.
So that is something that you all need to become conscious of more and more here. It is happening, though, much more than what it was in the beginning here. Remember, we always used to say these crazy contraptions? We have not had to say that too much anymore. So you are becoming more responsible about this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. Any other questions here?
Yes, this is Melinda Siebold from California. And I was just wondering if all or most negatives will disappear off of the Earth on December 21st.
Now, for those of you that have been here, regular guests, you might say, on this program, you would know that when we would attempt to answer a question such as this, we cannot. We are not allowed to answer questions about dates anymore, with an exception of a hint here or there. But to say what is going to occur on a particular date, as your December 21st, as you are asking, we cannot give that because that is not yet written here. In terms of there is nothing written in stone, nothing. It is all based on probabilities and possibilities. And that particular date is a possibility, not a definite. So there's a possibility, maybe even a probability, but not a definite, but not to the extent that you are giving here as to what it means. You see?
Okay.
There are many similar dates, you might say, time frames that are going to come up, which are going to create possibilities more and more as you move along. But there will come a time, and we will give this more on the time, the New Year's Eve here, as you call it. We will speak more on this as to what you can expect here in your 2018 and what kind of a year that is going to be, what is going to bring, and all of this. So it is going to be quite a show, we can say here, that is going to be had for your New Year's Eve celebration. And yes, the one that you call the comedian one here will be with you, very much so, maybe singing, maybe will definitely be celebrating with you, and may even bring along another certain someone here. That is just a little hint for you. Good. Did this answer your question? That is the best we can answer.
No, yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely perfectly. And I have one other question. And, when we're trying to think ahead of what I'll be doing and other light workers will be doing when we're working with people to help heal them, heal the earth, heal all in nature's kingdoms. I'm wondering at what point, because it's my understanding that physical and mental illnesses as well as addictions will cease to exist and people will be freed from them. And I'm just wondering, is that something like at the beginning of our journey will happen, or if we'll still need to be looking after people in those respects for a little while?
It will be part of the transition as you move through this ascension process. So you will find in the beginning it will be an immediate turnaround in many respects once the earth is pulsed here from the source. And once that occurs, there will be many immediate changes, but it will also be changes over a time period. So it will not be quite so drastic as what would have occurred on your December 21st, 2012, if that had continued on into completion as it was meant to at that time. But at this point, it will be a little bit more gradual, but there will be those intense periods that you will find where you are experiencing now a sense of bliss or a sense of wonderment or a sense of some type of change within you that is sudden. It will be sudden as well, but even more pronounced at that time when this pulse of energy comes into the planet and consciousness shifts in many respects overnight. But it will also be a gradual shift over a period of time as well, for many. For some, it will be immediate. For some, it will be gradual shift over time. Okay?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I understand. Thank you very much.
Very good. Any other questions here before we release channel? Then we are going to release channel. Just continue everything that you are working on individually, going within yourself, finding that surrendering within yourself. It is very, very important at this point. And this is why it has been brought to you in various forms here. And it is important that you utilize these services as they are given to you, and these techniques and tools that you are being given here. Shanti, peace be with you. Be the one.
Shanti. Shanti. Thank you.